Hey there, welcome to this latest video. Today we are at Loe Bar, which is near Porthleven. So you've got Helston over there, Loe Pool comes round, and you've got this amazing naturally formed sandbar which is called Loe Bar. Down that way is Lizard Peninsula over there, equally as nice. It's all great around here. This is one of my old favourite stomping grounds, which I used to paint on a lot. We've done a few videos here over the last few years, coming back every now and again. And today we are using this Lightwish oil pastel set here. We're going to try the oil pastels, 100 colours in this set, and it's the mother of all oil pastel sets. And I'll show you how they work in a moment once we get going. We're doing a plein air sketch on. We're going to be trying something else different, which I've not used before as well. You know, I like to make life difficult for myself. We're going to be trying this Sennelier oil pastel paper, which is around A4 size. It's 24 by 32 centimetres, and it's 160 pounds in weight, if that makes any sense to you, or 340 grams. And it's quite smooth, so I'm not quite sure how I'm going to get on with it, but we're going to give it a go anyway. I've brought an old wine box board. This is very lightweight, small, nice little thing for me to sort of rest on, and I'm using this rock here as my easel for the day. So that's going to just sort of sit there like that, and we're going to get on with it now while it's nice and the sun's shining. I hope you enjoy it. Listen to the sea and me rabbiting on, of course. Right, so it's got two layers. It's like two layers here. We have these lovely greens and a couple of violets, some greys and some earth colours in there, and that one layer there, which is going to be very useful today with the sea. And on this other layer here we have some more vibrant colours, which may also be useful in the sky, some yellows, pinks and things like that, purples. So we've got quite a low viewpoint now. It's a nice cloud. I've got a store card, loyalty card thing, which is going to be great for scratching into these oil pastels, the way I like to scratch back. I'm just going to lay something in quickly for the sea. I'm going to have quite a low horizon here, something like this. This is with the peacock green, would you believe? So many colours here, this is fantastic. So that's the sky is up here, starting there. Here is the headland, and this is our sky. So we're going to just lay this in by laying in the on the side. We'd go up a little bit more. We'll put a bit of that into the water, a little bit of that into the water there, and then we're going to just change that to make it a little bit more deeper, like what it is up there. And we probably can't see that cloud above there, but I'm going to put it in because it's quite a nice feature. That is just something like that. Let's move that like that so I can see these a bit better. This sort of violet. Oh, that's nice. I like that. That's going to go in there. I'm going to put a bit of that where the sand is as well. Might not make sense at the moment, but all will come good, I'm sure. Lay that on. There, this is where the sand is. So basically, I'm just getting something in there as quick as I can, and now I'm just going to, with that card, We'll try. I don't know if this is going to work on this paper. This is the problem. And push that right through. This is a white, so this is the white that comes with a set. That's quite creamy actually in colour, so that's quite nice. So I'm going to put that in there. And above here, we're going to add a little bit of that yellow. I'm going to put some of this back in now, because it's got quite a bit of brightness to it there. So we're taking that up. So basically now, because the card didn't do a lot, we were having to blend with this white. So we're blending in to this with the white, like that. And let's try the card again with a clean bit and see if we can just blend a bit more. Yes, it's going to take a little bit of a different approach, I think, this one. What we're trying to do, we're trying to keep it lively. There's a little bit more intense, that sky up there, so let's try with this one. And bring that into down a little bit into the lighter sky, not too much. Quite a light touch here, not pressing too hard. We're drawing directly into this white paper. This is where the cloud is at the top. There's a few areas of cloud. And we'll go back to this grey. So this is like a nice, this is called ink grey, but it's actually nice and it's sort of ochre-y. It's quite nice, I quite like that. And definitely see some of these colours would be very useful. I'm just not sure about this paper. For me, you know, for the way I work. I'm just going to put this, got a little darker area in here. That's the one, this is the one we wanted, isn't it? This one here. So the clouds come over, look. Some nice rays of light coming through there. That's where the sun is up there. So we've got this cloud come over now. It's just changed it a little bit. So I've got to try and remember what it was like when we arrived. And this is where we're at the moment. Just messing about with these colours for the first time and that pad. So we've sort of blocked all this area in and scraped back a little bit. Just show you what the texture looks like a little bit closer for you. So somehow I've got to try and fill in some of these white areas that are showing through because of this slight texture on the paper. And somebody's out sailing over there. I don't know if we can see that. Somebody's sailing over there. Very nice. Go over at Cudden Point there. Found my rag. Now I can wipe this card off a bit more. They're very soft, these oil pastels are very soft. Look at this, what's this one? Dark coffee, I like the sound of that. I like my coffee. Right, so this can just go in along here. That's quite nice. It is quite dark up there actually. And you've got Port 11 is in here. So let's find a nice sort of what colour is this one? Ultramarine blue, very nice. So that sort of runs across here like this. I'm just going to something like that. And I'm trying to remember to put them back in the place where I picked them out from. This is called brownish red, which I suppose it is really. It's a bit like a cross between a light red, burnt sienna and an Indian red. It's quite nice. Really easy to use. That goes on so easily. I'm having to put hardly any pressure at all on. It's not like the old oil pastels we used to use at school years ago, and they rock like it's like trying to get colour out of a stone. It's not like that at all these days. They're all really easy to use. They're so soft. It's just quite a nice colour there. I want to have a little look at. This is coffee brown. Coffee brown. So we've had dark. Well, we had dark coffee and coffee brown now. That looks like it could be quite useful for that area in here, which is like a pinky grey. And also for a bit of the beach, we're going to have to just alter that shape a little bit. And this sort of runs like this. Tea brown. So these are all inspired by drinks. What we've got up here, let's have a look. What's that? Is that one we've used? Rose grey. That sounds like a person. Rose grey. What's this one? This up? We've tried that before, have we yet? Mauve. This is great fun trying all these out actually. So I'm going to put this, I think what I'm going to do is put this area here of the sand, the beach, the bar, make it cooler. You make that cooler with this mauve, like that. Now I've got to find a colour to give this a lift. I'm struggling to see one in here. I'm struggling to see a colour in here that's going to give this the lift I need. So I'm going to have to go. See, I don't want that to look too yellow because the pink. Where's that one gone? That pastel pink. That was more like what it was, but yeah. So struggling a bit with that. Choosing the colours. The pastels are great. It's just me struggling to choose the colours I need to use. Right, so I've got all these colours, 100 colours, but there's still a couple of ones I think I could do with, unless I haven't tried that one yet though. What's that? What does that say? Canch orange, or something like conch orange, not sure what that means. We might be trying that one, just for its name. Anyway, because we need to get that beach a bit brighter, don't we? And what I've done with scraping back, I've managed to fill in some of the whites on the paper and get this more sort of sketchy, scratchy style, which is what I like and which is what I'm after. No Basil today. He's obviously too old to get down to here now. He used to come down here with us a lot. He's just too old now, and there's no way he'd get back, and he's about 28 kilos, so I don't really want to be carrying him up the hill. So might say hello to him later in the garden when I get back home. Conch orange, and I'm going to try that in here. This looks like the colour I need to give this a little bit of a lift here, because I wanted that little air strip where the sun was just shining there, like that, and then it went cool again, the beach, but not as sort of as dark as over there. We don't want this to look too neat and tidy. We want it sort of scratchy and scribbly, just like it is in my sketchbook. So basically, it is a sketch after all. What's this one? Skin colour. Let's try that. Let's try that down here. And a little bit of that in here. Followed by white again for blending. Too much, and I can scrape that off now. This is the yellow green, which I quite like. So I've gone a bit thick there, so if you go too thick, you just scrape it back. It's a bit like painting, if you go too thick, you just scrape it back with a palette knife. I'm using a credit card, store card here, because it's easier. And you get quite a nice, a plastic thing like that won't go through the paper, you see, whereas a metal sort of palette knife may go through the paper. Let's put some light blue back in here. Just where we've just moved that across a little bit. And we want to try, what's this colour? Let's have a look at this. This is called Light Elegant Green. I wonder if that'll work up here in the sky, where you get that sort of yes, that's perfect, look at that. You get that lovely aqua sky. That's absolutely, I was going to swear then because that is absolutely perfect. God, that's amazing, that is. Let's push that in. That is really nice. I can see there'll be some of these colours that I will use a lot and some I won't use at all. That's the only thing with a big 100 colour set like that. You'll find there'll be colours that you really like and you go to all the time, and there'll be some you've never used at all, especially for what I do anyway, out in the landscape. But that is great. Yeah, that is a lovely colour to lay over the top of there. That's given us that sort of brightness in the sky there, which is there. So let's go see if we can find something up here which looks quite nice. What's that one? Cloisonne. C-L-O-I-S-O-N-N-E. Cloisonne. So just altering the colour there at the back. We're now going to just level that off a bit with the edge of that card. Oh, now we're on to sand brown. That's going to go up there. Like, we just put a bit of that on there. And we just got to find a sort of a darker, duller green, because that's gone quite dark now in here. So got to edge that up a little bit more. So we get this edge looking a bit darker. That stands out a bit more then. And then we go back to one of these greys. What's this one? We haven't tried this yet. Sunny Mountain Blue. Oh, that's quite nice. That is very nice. That works really well, actually. Let's put that down there. Let's change that to make that dark. Oh, that's great. That is really great. I like that a lot. That has made a big difference, actually. And then we can make that look like it's in the shade. That's really good. We tried that on the beach, actually. Across like that. sort of gone to like that, look. You can see the difference there. We've got the light beach and the shadow area. Let me see if I can zoom in for you so you can see it a bit easier. Yeah, that's what we're trying to do, you see. We've got this light area and the shadow behind it. And that's basically what we are trying to achieve in this drawing. So that light's sort of changed already. In just like 5 seconds of me switching that camera off and then picking up my phone. It's changed already, so I'm glad I sort of got that in like that when it was there. So this is what we've got at the moment. Just do a bit of drawing into this with a pencil, I think, in a minute. And the cliffs over there just start to light up, look now. So I could add that in, actually. I think I'll do that. Might add that fisherman in on the beach as well. So just over here at this sort of edge, some of these areas are lighting up a little bit. Just a hint of that there. And there's a really bright, very nice bright green just lighting up here as well. That's quite nice. And they actually feel, because it's not hot, but we're in the sun and they just start to sweat a little bit. I can feel that now. I've had that before. So we need a cool green now over here. It's gone a bit cooler, that has there. And up the top there. Blush brown. Some like seaweed and debris and stuff. And put a little bit of that down there. It's actually September and the wind was quite chilly, so it goes cold in the evenings and first thing in the morning, but this is in the afternoon. It's absolutely amazingly warm here. It's lovely. Just going to scratch into that a little bit. Something like that. Right, I'm just going to put a little bit of colour into the sky with this tea brown. Tea brown, it's quite nice. So what I'm going to do is just get into these clouds. You see, look, there is actually some nice colours in there up there. So I'm going to just increase the colour a little bit more in this cloud by just applying really lightly. In a sort of very light, holding it at the end, holding it really lightly, so hardly any pressure, and just sort of scribbling it on. And I think I'm not going to probably blend too much, maybe just a little bit over here with the back of my nail. So I'm just using my back of my nail to blend, so it's going to be horrible at the end of it, but I've got a rag to wipe it off. So that's going like that, just a little bit, and then I'll go back over the top. Crab roe orange, I'm going to try a little bit of that. And then we'll go over the top with the white. We'll see if this works. So this is going to give us some of the warmth which we want. So I'll risk it, and then we're going to go back in with the maybe not the frosty white, but with the normal white. Let's try that. Oh, now I've got sand everywhere. Look at that. Sand all over the pastels. That's the joys of working on the beach. But somehow I'm going to have to knock all that off and then clean those up later. Great, that's a nice job to have to do. Right, let's just try and lightly go over here. We're just trying to warm those up a bit. It's a bit more of a yellow, but I can't really find the right colour. We've got a yellow, here, but this one mustard yellow, but it's a little bit, I don't know, maybe it might work over the top. Let's have a look. It's just to warm this area up, and then we're going to have to just sort of scrape back into it a little bit more. Just gently scrape down, take some of it off. And we're definitely going to have to go over that with the white again to get the brightness back. That it's sort of lost a little bit of. Let's have a look. Now you're going to have to go back in with the white, you see. And then we're going to sort of lose the colour. It's very tricky, this is. I haven't quite got the right colours. Keep going back to that conch orange, but it's not really. Maybe it is that. We're going to have to compromise, I think. We've got sand on here, look. This is the problem now. We've got sand scratching into the pastels because I've got sand everywhere. That might be better, just to warm that up a little bit. And then we gently take some of this off with my club card. Every little helps, as they say. My old club card. And every little bit of sand helps. I don't think so in this case. That's too dark and sticky. Not sure what to do about that sand. I don't want to go too light, you see. I'm just drawing a little bit with the pencil as well. It's changed quite a bit since I've been here, as always. These scenes often change quite a bit in the short time that you're here. So you can see here a bit closer where I've actually darkened that sky at the top. That's worked out quite well. We've got the brightness in the sky. This is where the sun's hitting this area here, which is in front of this bit. We've got Port 11 here, some houses and things in here. So just want to indicate those with some of the whites. So this is in front of this bit here, so I've put cool greens in here because that's in the shade. We've got a gull flying across here, so let's try and put him into this into the drawing. Let's have him somewhere sort of here, like that. Just a little mark, that'll do. Let's have a look at getting this fisherman put in, something like this. So basically we ain't got to think of him as a person, we're just looking at him as a shape. What shape has he made? Sat there. Something like this. And you can just see the rods are, he's got a few rods like this. And he's actually stood up now. I think he thinks he's caught something. So we're going to just sort of try and hint at him there. We can actually say he's stood up now. See how the oil pastel comes off onto the graphite stick at the end, look. So we need the rag to wipe that off. So something like that. So he's stood now, he's stood up, checking his rods, and that's his coat hanging off a post he's got sat there. And he's got some bags at the back here behind him, look. Some bags and some bait. So we can put a bit of a colour into that, where he is actually, he's sort of like here. And I think that might do us. So it's actually the 23rd of September. And this is Loe Bar, and it's about 5 o'clock now, but we started it at about 4:30ish. So we'll leave it at that. And somebody said in my stream, I was just doing that test stream, that I can draw but I can't write, and they're probably right. They are correct. But I'd rather be able to draw, personally. There you go. And that's that. There's your fisherman, sat there with his rods. And this is the Lightwish oil pastels, which I have to say are really very nice. Great fun. Right, I think that'll do for today. So, this is what we've got. Here's our drawing, oil pastels on Sennelier paper. So it's a Lightwish 100 colour set, the mother of all pastel sets. And like I said in the commentary, there's probably too many colours for me, but you know, there'll be some you really like and some you're not so keen on. And that's that. Plein Air oil pastels, Loe Bar. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget our live streaming, which is, I haven't scheduled anything in at the moment because I'm still sort of in the process of getting used to using it, but so it'll pop up from time to time. So just watch out for the live, on the live tab on the channel. If you click on the notifications little icon, which is like a bell, it'll come up when I'm live, so you'll be able to see, you know, if you just happen to be at a loose end and you see that I've gone live, why not pop in and take a look, see what we're up to. But I will schedule some in at different times of day and different days, so everybody sort of around the world who follows the channel will be able to catch up. And you're always welcome to sort of ask questions, and I'll do my best to answer. What else? We've got the membership scheme up and running, which is a great way to support the channel. So if you want to become a member, you get some behind the scenes footage, some sort of exclusive bits and pieces which you won't get otherwise. But anyway, thanks for watching. All the best. See you again some other time. Bye for now. And as a little side note on this, with this pad, this sketch pad that I was given kindly actually by students from Sketch Club, Pam from Sketch Club. Thank you, Pam. So this pad here has got this like protective like glassine paper, which is quite nice, and that goes over the top of that and protects it. So when you do your oil pastel sketches in here, you've got each one has got its own glassine sheet to protect it, which is great. So I'm going to make use of that this winter. Thank you, Pam. Bye.